Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Yes, let's do that. It is Coffee Ann on ON, AM, and FM. Friday morning, it's April 7th. It's Good Friday. Nice to have you along with us. My name is Joe Callahan. Across the table from me, Dave Richards. Good morning to you, Dave.
Hi there, Joe. Good morning, everybody. Lovely day.
Absolutely. And Melissa Murray is here as well. So we're happy to have Melissa with us. Would you like to say hello,
She's
Melissa?
here. She's looking quite plum today.
Very purpley. Okay.
No, that's plum, isn't it?
Looks like purple to me.
Or is it lilac?
Isn't that purple?
It's purple, I think.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm right. Rich Lane cannot join us today. He's got other things going on at the moment, so he sends his condolences, and he'll be with us next week.
He's bringing the car
All
in
right.
for its 2-mile checkup.
That's right. So, anyway, our first segment sponsor of the Coffee Amp program is the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. What do you see in your email, Dave, from the
kinds
Chamber?
of different stuff. My goodness. Well, if you need grant funding or access to capital, the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce just sent out into my email box the real-time resources with grant funding for ventilation improvements, internship support program, workplace accessibility grant, employee training grants, hiring tax credit, hiring and training reimbursement, innovation vouchers, matching tech assistance grants, expand, relocate your workforce tax credits for financial gaps, and tax increment financing. It's just one of those things. I mean, talk about people who know people. The Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, they know people. And they know what's going on when it comes to business. So if you'd like to find out stuff like that, I mean, if you're just running a business, you don't know where all this stuff is. But they can help not only tell you about what's there, but also hook you up with the right people so they know exactly, so you'll know exactly what you're doing. They also have the events list. Yesterday we had the HR roundtable, but coming up on the 20th of April, they're kind of laying low next week because of vacation week, you know. At R1 Indoor Karting in Lincoln from 5 to 7 p.m., the Emerging Leaders Network pop-up at Dart City, R1 Indoor Karting in Lincoln. That's a fun place to be, by the way. If I remember, they also have places where you can throw an axe,
That's right.
which
Axe throwing.
is big. I mean, I guess they have leagues
Yeah.
throwing axes. Okay. Then the statewide business after hours coming up, the opportunity to connect in a big way at the Crown Plaza in Warwick. That's from 5 to 7:30 on April 26th. On the 27th, another Eggs and Issues breakfast, like the one we had last week, right?
Right.
Only this will be for April. It's at the Kirkbrake Country Club in Lincoln, 8:15 to 9:15. Eggs and Issues Economic Outlook is what it says. That's all it says. And you can register right there by clicking the button if you get the email. And you get the email if you're a member, like I am. Call 334-1000 and find out how the Chamber can work hard for you. Joe?
All right, there, Dave. Thank you very much. All right, this is the times where how things have changed so much, and it's on the front page of today's call. All right.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, it is because it's right here.
I thought we were going to talk about Melissa's great victory.
We are,
yesterday.
but before we do that,
Okay.
here it is down at the bottom. The call will no longer print a weekly TV book. We're all done.
Good.
Now, they're going to continue printing a daily TV listing in their amusement pages.
Well, I
but
think it's
getting rid
about
of this
time.
TV guide is just, it's done.
Yeah.
It's
20
passé.
years
I
ago,
didn't know-
they stopped doing the radio listings.
Yeah.
I think this is like quid pro quo. You've
So,
got to
okay.
now stop doing the TV listings.
No, they're going to keep the listings going daily. It's the weekly book,
Oh, I
your
see.
weekly TV guide for the upcoming week. That's going away.
Doesn't sound like it's their decision. It sounds like somebody decided not to print it anymore.
Well, this is, we don't
Well,
have enough
I don't
paper.
know.
No, it's just, well, this time has come because most of your smart TVs tell you what the guide is.
Right.
And they don't care what you want to watch.
There's just a button.
That's
They
that
just show
right.
you what
Yeah.
they want you to watch.
Yeah.
You ever see a Roku TV?
No, I know people that have them. But,
You know, and they're cheap because they don't have all the stuff in them that a regular TV has.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically a computer that goes on that one Roku service. And I found out about it when we were down in Florida last month, 2 months ago actually now. And because that's what my mother-in-law had. They bought her a new TV. They bought her a Roku TV, hung it on the wall, and we're over there and we say, okay,
What's on?
so what can you watch? That's it. If you don't have an internet connection, you're not watching nothing.
Right.
Well, okay, let's hook up an antenna. So, Dave's a little technical minded, so let's hook up a little antenna. So we hook up a little antenna, and that's what you watch now, really, because otherwise you're just watching 50 reruns of My Mother the Car or Bewitched, which isn't a bad show, I suppose, or F Troop. You're not really watching a channel.
Yeah.
You're just watching somebody's library that you pick up on it. So... It was my decided opinion that they don't care what you want to watch. Here's what you're going to watch. And I said, well, that's very interesting.
If
Never
you get the
mind.
Roku, so all right.
Shut TV off, turn on radio.
Agreed.
All right, so the weekly book is just going away, and just okay. We
Well,
don't
there's a
wanna- we
button
just
on
wanna
your
print it
remote,
anymore.
We hardly-
and you can
we
I
just
know
hardly
it says
knew you.
guide.
yeah,
We
it says
hardly knew
guide. You literally have it on your remote. Just press the guide, and
Let's say I have the old TVs, and you don't have that. But going forward,
even
you
I,
do.
yeah, even I
And you
don't
can
have an
go-
old TV.
and you can go days ahead if you want to. If you're
Yeah,
that
say,
bored.
hey, listen, I want to watch that, but maybe I won't be around, so you can record it if
Record
you
it.
get
and
one
yeah,
of the
you
recording
can
jobs.
right.
My
do
my,
that.
my wife's in charge of the DVR at home. It's always at like 80% full.
Really?
None of them are my shows.
Oh, my.
Absolutely none of them. And then we have it's the running argument because I'll be there. I'm the ball game is on, and
Yeah.
there I am, and then here it comes 9:00, and poof, a message comes up on the screen. Well, you're recording this show and this show. Pick which one you want to watch live, because
Yeah,
you're not
right.
watching the game anymore.
That's right. That's
and if
right.
you don't cancel one of them, we're going to channel 12,
Yeah, right.
and you're watching CSI.
Yeah, right.
And recording it at the same time. I said,
It's funny. Of course, we keep ours very low in the 30s.
all right.
We're constantly ditching stuff and not keeping it for later, and you watch it, and then
Or you delete it.
yeah, we have some discipline in that way. Because if it gets up near 50, it starts erasing shows we haven't seen yet that we might want to watch.
Oh, all right.
Our particular brand does that. We have a TiVo, and it will go around erasing shows to make space.
I don't think our DVR does. It just says, okay, you've hit 100%, you can't record anything
Yep.
else. So
No more.
you get rid of something. I don't want that responsibility. All right, away from TV now. And so, Melissa,
Let's talk about radio.
good news. The
Interesting
Senate,
story
Great
on the
news.
radio this morning. I
Yes.
didn't see it on TV.
the Senate
That's
approved
right.
legislation sponsored by you to limit insured insured patients' copays for supplies and equipment used to treat diabetes to $25 for a 30-day supply. Was there a lot of discussion on the Senate floor
There was
about this?
No. I introduced the bill, and
Everyone liked it?
Went to committee. There was discussion in committee.
yeah, there was a discussion in committee.
Supposed to.
The insurance companies didn't like it.
Well, yeah, not making them as much money.
And they said, we're going to have to raise everybody's rates if you do this.
Well, that's what they say all the time.
Well,
That's what they always say.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Insurance Company, you're going to do that anyway.
That's my argument. That
Don't
was
you need
exactly
a
right.
good excuse?
You don't need any excuse. You're going to arbitrarily raise rates
Of
whenever
course
you
you are.
feel like it.
When do your rates ever go
So-
down, Mr. and Mrs. Insurance Company?
Right, exactly. So
So good.
so it's great. So the
So what are you shooting for next year? Zero? Okay, is that what you're shooting for now?
no, we're
That
gonna
would-
we're
that
gonna
would
work
be
on
You're
it.
great.
already down to 40. I thought that was pretty reasonable.
No. So a couple of years ago, we passed my bill
Right.
to cap the price of insulin, and people were still coming to me and saying
Still
that
too
they
high?
couldn't afford all of the supplies. So this is the
Oh, yeah.
supplies.
Because the insulin is only one part of it.
Right. They don't even give you the needle.
The
That's
needle
right.
is-
They don't. Oh, and the insurance company doesn't cover the needles.
Right. So they nickel and dime you like that, right? But you also need to get the glucose testing strips, testing meters,
very
glucose pumps, which are extremely expensive that some folks need. And even though the insulin was covered, all of these, like, great, you get the insulin, but you need a
But
way
you can't get it into you.
to get
because
it
you
into
can't get
your
the needles.
body. And you also, 10% of all Rhode Islanders are diabetic. which is really
that
high.
much?
10%. 10%.
That's a lot more than I figured.
Yep. So this affects a lot of people, and people were rationing insulin, which is very dangerous.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You hear about
'Cause you can't
that all
afford
the
it.
time. They
Yeah.
would ration insulin, and then they were rationing their supplies. And I had a constituent and friend of mine who has an insulin pump, and his diabetes is so expensive to manage that he would meet his deductible by March, and they only would cover so many needles. So he has the pump; it pumps directly into his body. They had a certain amount of needles, and he admitted to me that sometimes he was
He's
supposed
reusing
to.
them.
He wasn't reusing them. He's supposed to change them every so often, but he would go a little longer because he said, "Well, what if I accidentally bump it and I need to put in a new needle,
Right.
and I don't have an extra?" So he would go longer
Yeah.
because it was so expensive, and the pumps are hundreds of dollars. So this caps insulin supplies at $25 for a 30-day supply, or $25 if that supply is supposed to last longer than 30 days.
Well, like a tester. A tester is supposed to last much longer than 30 days.
Right.
30 days.
Right. Exactly. Or an insulin pump or something like that. So just trying to make, in the long run, this is the health benefits, because diabetes is really serious and can be deadly, and you can, get very sick. You can lose limbs. So it's all about maintenance. So making sure that those maintenance supplies are accessible to people, that they can get the maintenance supplies and the testing supplies that they need to stay healthy, and capping those I felt was really important. So hopefully the House feels that it is as important as we do, and
Well, you've
this will
already
become
got a companion
law.
legislation in there. I
We
think
do,
that's-
yep. And Rep.
that's
Kennedy,
pretty well organized.
Rep. Kennedy has been a huge advocate. He also I worked with the American Diabetes Association to craft this bill, and he's been working with them as well. So we wanted to make sure that, like the insulin bill, that not only was there a cap, but you didn't have to meet your deductible first, because that's huge. People will have huge deductibles. So this cap is regardless of whether or not you've met your deductible, like the insulin.
So the bill under the Senate says it'll take effect January 1st, but it's still going to be passed by the House.
It still has to be passed by
For
the House.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
don't you
when will
think-
they vote on it? Any idea?
Well, that's up to them.
Right.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay.
Midnight on budget night. That's when everything gets fast tracked.
well, and it may be part of negotiations too, right? So
Could be,
it's like,
yeah.
okay, we'll pass this if you pass our
Yeah, but-
that.
But that's the mechanic. Nobody should ever see how their laws are made. I mean,
Right, it's-
everybody must see it, but they shouldn't see it because it's just like
Making sausage,
the
right? You just don't wanna
the
know.
mechanics of it. Now I wanted to ask you this though. When you see the amount of support that your bill had in co-sponsors.
Yeah.
Now, when I read
look
this
at 'em,
on
look at
the
'em
air
all.
today,
There's like 20.
seriously, there's like 4 inches all
Yeah.
typed out of names of co-sponsors on your bill. And I made the quip because I says, there's no way I can read all these names inside a radio news story. So I said to this reporter, it looks like half the Senate co-sponsored this thing.
Yep.
I don't know if mathematically it was half the Senate,
No,
but it
it-
sure gave that appearance.
It's probably 10, right? The first 10.
It's 10. Yeah.
Okay, so
all right.
when they used to talk about the top 5, the top 5
But there's only
co-sponsors.
35 senators, right?
There's only 38,
38 senators.
right?
So that's a third,
well,
almost.
there was more
a
than
quarter.
that. There was more than that. There was actually more than that, but they only print the top 10.
Oh. Wow.
Right.
So I was more
I'm
correct than I thought.
I'm going to tell you a little secret. So it used to be the top 5. So
Yeah.
if you wanted the PR, you say, I want to be in your top 5. That doesn't mean that there's only 5 sponsors or only 10 sponsors.
Right.
It was just our,
So almost literally half the Senate co-sponsored this bill.
yes,
It just wasn't in the press release.
right,
Because you don't list as all of them.
right. But
And
people
of
can
course, Roger
sponsor.
Pickard was one of them.
Yeah,
We want to make sure he got a credit.
absolutely, and many more. So this is something that affects everybody. It's important to all of us, and I think there's been a nationwide push because you've seen other states do caps for insulin, and which when that got on the news, it started me thinking. I'm like, okay, we need to do that too. And then of course, when all the states did it, and then it came down at the federal level. So hoping that this
Yeah,
push
federal level is
continue.
at 35. Now we're at
35.
25.
No, the federal level is at 35 for insulin. Doesn't include supplies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was the caveat. Yeah. So,
Oh, well.
but hopefully this will start another conversation. Other states will see that we're doing this. They'll do it, and it'll start a national conversation.
All right, very good.
So,
no,
yeah, all good.
nicely done.
All
Melissa.
good stuff.
All right, we're gonna take a break on the Coffee and program, so I'm gonna give it back over to Dave for a second message, please, from the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, and the telephone number to call is 334-1000. Speak to anybody at 334-1000 starting at 9 o'clock this morning, and whomever answers the phone can tell you how membership in the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce can benefit you in many, many, many ways. Joe?
Thanks, Dave. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240, and we have a message to get to when we come back.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
WOON Woonsocket Radio.
Coffee and on ON. Thank you very much for tuning in. Joe Callahan here, along with Dave Richards and Melissa Murray. We were asking Melissa off the air how the vote went on your bill that
Yes.
passed the
No
Senate,
dissent.
and it was unanimous.
Unanimous. Yep.
A few people weren't there to vote. They
Well,
was absent,
yeah,
but that's okay.
It wasn't
Yep.
full attendance, but
Yeah.
what,
Yep.
5 or 6 people?
All green. Lit up all green. It was beautiful. I took
Oh.
a picture.
Ooh. Did you?
I did.
All right, that's great.
Did you get the audio file? You'll
No.
see that later.
Since you
Oh, your audio file.
since
Yeah.
you sponsored the bill, do you vote on it too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
course.
Well, I'm just
So,
checking. I'm just.
yeah,
I don't know what
it-
the rules are.
No, yeah. So they introduce the bill. I stand up. I explain the bill,
Yeah.
and then a bunch of people second it.
Yeah.
Like probably most of the people that were there stand up to second. They call the names. Senator, and then they open up the machine. They ask any discussion. There was no discussion.
Nothing. Okay.
They
Time to
open
vote.
up the machine, and everybody pushed the green button, and we were good to go. So
Wow, nice and
great.
quick. All right.
Yeah.
All right, want to get to a note that was called in 766-1240.
Is there like 11 days before that takes place or something like that to have to write it into the register? There's also some other mechanics after it. Like I know with the Woonsocket City Council, when they would pass something, most of the time, unless specifically written into the legislation, it would take effect 11 days after passage.
This is
That's an
January
ordinance.
1st.
Yeah.
So there is a time where it gets written into the record or
It
written into
depends
the
on
law
the.
books.
It depends on. Yeah, it depends on the date.
We know
that
the
is-
effective date is January 1st, but that's where the penalty phase comes in, right? Where
Right,
If
so,
you're, if
I
you're
mean,
not
it's-
doing it then,
Yeah, they transmit the record. We transmit pretty much daily.
Yeah.
We transmit it, and then it goes over to the house. So.
okay.
All right, on to another subject.
He insists.
There we go. Still nothing. No advances towards gun reform. Congress not doing a good job on how to address these horrific
Is
ongoing
this a
massacres.
message from the outside?
Yes.
Okay.
As I've mentioned many times, the NRA is to have a
You're
major.
still reading the message.
It's a long
Okay.
one. Is to have a major reform. What are this country's problems with abolishing assault weapons for good? And now, where are our morals? How many more lives? How about the parents with their lives ruined with their 9-year-old going to school and getting murdered? I am not proud to be an American. I'm ashamed and crying.
Well, I can't go with that last comment. The fact that we're talking about it, the fact that it's out in the open, that is something to be proud of because that doesn't happen in some countries. The fact that we discuss the things that are terribly wrong and discuss ways that each of us would support to change the rules so that they could be righted again, that's America. And even though that doesn't get you the results and it's not enough for some people, I still hang on to that. That we see it, we hear it, we know it. I mean, it's all over the radio, and I wouldn't be surprised if we talked about it during this show, that Tennessee ain't looking good right now.
Oh my goodness, no.
Tennessee, despite where you fall on the issue of gun control, Tennessee's not looking good. You had 3 members who felt so strongly that more had to be done regarding gun control that they disrupted a session. And they all got to know that when you're in the chamber of the government, that there's a certain set of rules and decorum that are enforced by the leadership. And that if you go against those because your conscience tells you that they're not taking a serious matter seriously enough and you want to be step out of line, you know there's going to be consequences for that. But if you feel strongly enough and you go and do it, fine. Then it will run its course. But when you get the entire country looking at you later on saying that, okay, 2 black guys and a white lady did this and made the decision to disrupt things and break the rules, and the 2 black guys get thrown out and the white lady doesn't, you got to know what that looks like to the rest of the country.
And they were exercising their freedom of speech.
Well,
I know there
a
was
minute now.
decorum. I know there's decorum. We have decorum also.
Sure. And
But
you
that
can
would
get in
never-
big trouble breaking the rules of the Senate when you're there on the
But
floor.
that would never. There would never be a vote to remove. I mean, I honestly believe in this state, and we've had legislators that have protested
Sure.
with protesters right outside and
Outside, not on the floor with megaphones, being
If there
gavelled
were-
down and continuing. Now that
we-
was disruptive.
Well,
that
yeah,
went way too
we've
far.
had that. We've had that, but you are duly elected. What right does the rest of that body have to remove you simply for using your freedom of speech? I think is very wrong. I think it's a dangerous precedent. And the look that 2 out of the 3 got ousted, awful, just awful. Like it's I don't know what's going on over there, but I am on the side of the disruptors. I mean, sometimes to make change,
Well,
you have to be disruptive.
you can
and this
certainly
is a serious
understand
issue.
how. Well, you can. Well, okay. I try not to get into the emotional part, although I recognize it's a component for most of us. Whenever there's a controversy going on, my nature, my personality is that I seek logic to moderate my actions, so that you don't end up with a mob mentality. You don't end up making emotional mistakes. But how can you reject emotion when you had the school shooting in Nashville just days before, and then you're saying we've got to do this, we've got to do that, and you're not getting an audience. You will then feel that you have to become disruptive.
Right.
And if their decision is that they will become disruptive and there will be consequences, and they felt that the consequences were worth it, then they went ahead and did it. That's America.
I don't think they could have ever foreseen that they would be removed
Really?
for what they did. No, I just don't, because I can't imagine that happening in our legislature here. I think
Well, I'd like to think that Rhode Island wouldn't do it.
I don't think that we would.
But when it comes down to emotions, and you got to figure this, the leadership got emotional about this too. And then the rest of the, it's their representatives chamber, isn't it? Yeah. The rest of their representatives also were emotional enough to
Yes, it's the House in Tennessee.
to fall
Yep.
in line and go along with an ouster.
And that's an extreme I think it's an extreme
And
reaction.
it wasn't that
to,
they took them both out at the same time. It's that they took one guy out, and then they waited a few hours and took the other guy out. And then when it came to the third person, she copped a walk.
But the caller is more talking about our national Congress, not each state, and
Yeah.
how they haven't done anything about gun control.
Of course,
and
of course
they
haven't.
won't. And the
And they
NRA
won't,
lobby is strong,
Too strong?
too strong,
Yep.
too strong. A lot of money, a lot of influence, and it
And a lot of it-
unfortunately,
Yes, a lot of from nefarious areas.
right. When you let money dictate your decision, that's
That's what you get, right?
not good.
Yeah,
it's
no.
not the way it's supposed to go.
Well, okay, but suppose the money wasn't there. What are we doing for time, Joe?
You got about
a
5
minute-
minutes.
couple minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to take another tack on this over here and have the matter discussed a bit more. But what would you do if money wasn't part of it and Congress would just listen to reason and everything? How far would you go? Well, one side of the ledger, then we should eradicate all weapons. And that's, of course, impossible. I think any rational person will agree with you that that is impossible because your hands could be a weapon. A rock could be a weapon. All of those things. You cannot take away all weapons. Well, you could take away all firearms. They tried it in England. It still hasn't been successful. They don't have a lot of it in England because they
don't have these school shootings and mass shootings in a lot of countries that ban assault weapons. I think that was the point that, one of the points that the messenger that or the emailer sent was trying to make is that
they have stabbings instead and bombings and stuff like that.
But not to the extent that we have them here.
Not the extent that we have here. And there's
Do you
one.
think so?
I believe that. I believe
suspect
that.
this is all the fans are being they're fanning the flames of discontent by the way that they're reporting all this.
It's the type of weapon that is able to take out. It's a killing machine. It was made to kill as many people as possible in the shortest amount of time. And I think that is really the big difference for me. I'm not opposed to people owning guns. I'm not opposed to people hunting. But do you need to have a weapon that is made to kill the most amount of people in the smallest amount of time? And if you're not in the military, then I think the answer is no. That's my personal opinion. That is not the opinion of many folks, but I think it's trending towards the majority. Unfortunately, the Constitution is interpreted that you can have any gun you want. You're allowed to have these weapons of mass destruction, right? Because they really, really are.
Shall we say weapons of considerable destruction?
Considerable, right?
All right.
I mean, that's why we did a magazine ban, but it's not enough, and it keeps happening.
Yeah, you can still see time look in life in the record stores, in the racks rather at the grocery stores.
You can see what?
Despite your magazine ban.
Oh,
Oh. Like, where's he going
People
with this?
is
I
still.
was like, what?
You can still get people any day down at the local grocery store.
yes,
But,
but not the
I-
Weekly World News anymore, which is a shame.
They go to business?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. But I agree with Melissa. The NRA is incredibly powerful, and even the caller says the NRA has to have a major reform, and they just won't go there. And,
Right.
And if they did, things might change, but
Yep.
they're just not going
Yep.
to.
Yep, because it's all about the money for them too.
Right. Okay, we're gonna take a break here in the Coffee and Program.
I
It's
think
time
that's a little
for
crass.
the.
It's not just about the money.
Well, time for the look
I'll
at the
tell
forecast.
you right now, I don't own a firearm.
Nor do
That's
I.
a conscious
Nor do I,
choice.
yeah.
I used to, and I said, I don't need one. I'm not going to have one. There's too much responsibility here with this thing. Not going to go there. Made a choice.
I agree.
But I don't want anybody telling me I can't.
Can I take a break now?
Well, you could.
All right, time for the weather forecast being brought to you by Compassion International.
Becoming sunny today with a high of 57 degrees. Breezy, red flag warning in effect. Increasing winds to 25 miles per hour and could gust to 40 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, overnight low of 28. Saturday's weather, sunny with a high of 51. Sunday, Easter Sunday, sunny and 53. Monday, sunshine and 63. Tuesday, sunshine and 69. Wednesday, sunshine and 73. And on Thursday, sunshine and 79 degrees.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street with partly sunny skies, we have 51 degrees. Drought, war, and rising food prices have devastated families in poverty. $50 provides a food kit to feed a family for a month. Just text the word radio to 97646.
Got a note here from John Chan at Chan's Fine Oriental Dining. Says, Dave, be sure to tell the folks we're open Easter Sunday at Chan's. Full menus available for dine-in, takeout, and delivery service on Sunday. Go Bruins and go Celtics. Enjoy the games. They're on the screens at the bar. All the games. Chan's delicious Chinese cuisine. Yummy. Thanks and happy Easter from John Chan at Chan's Fine Oriental Dining, 267 Main Street, Woonsocket.
With the cold weather, your home may suffer different types of losses. Frozen water pipes may burst. Water heaters may leak. Dishwasher or washing machines may flood. Ice dams that cause damage or tree branches crashing through your roof. If you've endured a catastrophic insurance loss, then you need to contact Vern Rainville, Public Insurance Adjuster. Vern works for you, not the insurance company. Vern will work with the insurance company adjuster throughout the entire process. Vern can even get the insurance company adjuster to come back to your home if need be. Vern gets paid when you get paid, so there is no money out of pocket. Vern is licensed in Rhode Island and Massachusetts and works from Manville. Contact Vern 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 1-484-300-8495. 1-484-300-8495. If you have a loss, call Vern for a free consultation. 1-484-300-8495. So remember, if the water pipes have burst or the water heater is leaking, call Vern Rainville, Public Insurance Adjuster, at 1-484-300-8495.
1, 2, 3, go.
Go where?
Tell them.
Tell them what?
Never mind. That is Manny Brando, and I am Virginia. And together we bring you the Manny Brando Show every Sunday from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. over ON, AM, and FM.
I like to say something now.
No, time's up. It's Sundays, 8:30 to 9:30 a.m.
Too early for me.
Too bad.
You can meet Manny and Virginia at the second annual WOON Senior Resource Fair coming up on Saturday, April 15th, a week from tomorrow, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon at the Elks Hall, 380 Social Street, right here in Woonsocket. And if you're nice and you plead with Manny, he may even sing you a song. So
You won't have to plead too hard.
please, please. Give it two pleases at least. All right, this segment of the Coffee and Program is sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper, which Dave happens to have in his hand.
Right, you'll have to move camera one in order to get
No, I like that picture better.
All right, so here we are, boys and girls. Time, yes, there we go. Over to the right, and like that. Thank you very much. Well, we only have a northern, a North Smithfield, Blackstone, and Woonsocket edition of the Breeze, rather, to mention to you today, because we only got that edition. We didn't get the Cumberland and Lincoln edition in. So we're going to take a look at it right now. How cool would it be? Bella Pelletier has a story in the Breeze this week from North Smithfield as the consultant to the renovation or reuse of the Hallowell School. Says, suppose we keep the gym. Look what we could do with that. Interesting. The story's right there in the Breeze. Also, while we were over at Woonsocket with our drive-through Easter egg hunt, North Smithfield had a more traditional one. Nice picture right there. And there's Meet Stephen O'Clair, Woonsocket's own Peter Griffin. Anybody know who Peter Griffin is?
I do.
Yes.
Okay.
From the Family Guy television show.
And Stephen O'Clair is the guy.
I did not know he was from
Born
Woonsocket.
and raised right here in Woonsocket. O'Clair told The Breeze that cosplaying or dressing up as a fictional character was never originally his plan, but he really, there's a little thumbnail picture over there, he really, really, really looks pretty good. Also, in Blackstone, we had our elections on Monday, and Mary Bolso and Dan, let me just do that like that, and Dan Keefe were the victors and secure the 2 available seats on the Board of Selectmen in Blackstone. Read all about it, along with some really great ads and things like that in the Valley Breeze. Free will you shop each and every Thursday, and we have a couple left here at the radio station on the freebie table, too. What do you know? Okay.
All right.
Next camera.
Alrighty, here I am. Okay, front page of today's call. Superior Court Judge David Cruz, Court Justice David Cruz, said the Woonsocket Zoning Board made an error on law, denying a special use permit for a marijuana compassion center to go in at the Walnut Hill Plaza,
Yeah.
where the empty Payless shoe store is at the moment. They said nope. They should have been granted a permit or a zoning okay to go there.
Well, the city council okayed it.
They did.
And then,
But then the zoning board said no.
well, the zoning official said something, and then they went to the board, and the board said something different. And I don't know, at the time, it seemed to me like it was another one of those things, mayor and city council disagreeing on things. I don't know if I was right about that, but that was the impression I got at the time. And now the court decision has come down. Mm-hmm. And it would appear that the council acted more appropriately than the zoning board did.
So you think it'll go through now? Something will.
I don't know
will
about
go
that,
there?
Joe. I don't want to be cynical, but I don't know about
I mean, will they
that.
open a compassion center there?
Well, I don't know about that, Joe.
All right.
It does seem like
Seems
the
to me
ideal
like
location.
It might go in front of the council again.
Again, okay, and see what
Not
happens.
that it has to, but it might go in front of the council again, so that this council won't make the same decision as the other council.
So we start all
I
over
don't
again?
know. Am I being cynical? I don't know, folks. But when you observe this stuff going on, you get tired of it. My goodness. and it just, for the next couple of years, it's just going to be more and more and more and more. I've reached my limit.
Or should we wait and make it a recreational marijuana dispensary?
Yeah. Well,
When they
listen,
become legal.
I'm not. By the way, when I make this comment, this is a personal comment as a citizen and voter in Woonsocket. I'm telling you, okay, fine, I own the microphone, big deal. But the fact is that I don't know who's right or wrong. I'm not pretending who's right or wrong. But the game is played the same way over and over again. And why can't we reach consensus? Why can't we get these things done? Why is it always got to be an us and them? I tire of it, friends. I don't think I'm the only one. I tire of the us and them all the time because I love this city and I want the city to work together and move forward. And of course, when you say that, Dave Richards, you know that this group of people is going to have this idea of how to move forward. The other group of people are going to have a different idea of how to move forward. And we just can't seem to blend and compromise. It's got to be a winner and a loser, no matter which side's winning and which side's losing. And this winning and losing, to me, the community loses.
Oh, everyone loses.
All right.
If there's got to be a winner, then somebody's got to lose. And why? Why can't we get together as United States citizens and as Rhode Islanders and Woonsocketers and say, listen, you win a little, I win a little, everybody gains.
And that's un-American, Dave.
And I have to correct you.
No.
It's Woonsocketeers.
Thank you.
No, it's true. It's true.
But listen, no, that's not true. Some people, this is a great Robert Kennedy quote. Some people see the world as it is and say, why?
Yep.
I see the world the way it could be and say, why not? And that's where my brain is today, and that's why I just spouted off. And now I'll leave the room and let everybody take pot shots at me.
You screaming left-wing liberal. Wow. All right. Moving on.
Not a liberal. I am a
Hey,
moderate.
when you start quoting Robert
want
Kennedy,
everybody
you're a liberal.
Ooh, fighting words.
All right. The mayor of the city of Woonsocket, after she was on Coffee Ann yesterday, put out a press release saying, yes, the Dion track is closed, but there's plenty of places to go walking in the city.
There are.
And she made a list.
Gobs of them.
World War II Veterans Park has a .53 mile loop around the park that you can use mostly, and it's mostly flat, like a track track is. There's the River's Edge Recreation Complex. That's a 1.7 mile loop starting in the parking lot and ending at the soccer field, and then you get, well, it's not a loop, it's kind of straight back and then walk back. Cold Spring Park has a 0.6 mile segment of the bike path, which provides a nice 1.2 mile up and back walk. River Island Park, walking paths, river views, sitting areas. Globe Park, scenic paths as well. Costa Park over on Fairmount Street and First Avenue, more scenic walking paths. Dunn Park, and then there's the Blackstone River Bike Trail. There's plenty of places to go.
Yeah, the bike trail really is lovely.
And but as I mentioned to Dave, there's always going to be some of those people. Oh, I got to go all the way over to Dunn Park. It's so far.
Well, no, you don't.
But that's what people say, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
I'm used to
You can
going
go over to Globe Park.
I'm used to the Dion track. It's a mile from my home. Or let's use as an example. If I got to go over to Dunn, well, that's 3.
Well, it
And
may
now you
be.
got to pack a lunch. You know.
Well, okay.
I'm
Now who's being
facetious.
cynical
Well,
now,
well, me.
Callahan?
I am. But I'm going by what
Well, we do have a lot of nice recreational
there
areas.
are.
We're very
and-
lucky in
okay,
that way.
Your
More
favorite
than-
track is closed. Go someplace else.
Right.
Seriously, do you know we have more parks and organized and maintained recreational areas for our citizens than Burrillville does? And I mean, talk about trees. I mean,
Yeah.
they know from trees in Burrillville. Gee whiz, you know. And plus, we're going to plant 500 more trees because we just chopped a bunch of them down for the public good. And you know, there's nothing wrong with this. And Woonsocket is rich in recreational areas and parks and little medallions. You know, there's a lot of that stuff that wasn't there when I was a kid here. Serious.
No, okay.
So the mayor's right.
But yes,
Okay,
but
so
you know how
the
people
on-track-
like to complain.
well, okay,
Well, sure, and a
fine.
lot of it has to do with the namesake of the track, I'm sure. But
think
like,
so?
yeah, I suspect that might be a
Do you
reason.
think that was why there was controversy? Do you think?
I think it could be, sure.
Well,
but
whatever.
I mean,
I'm against naming things after people who are still alive anyway.
you sound like John Ward.
I'm not really. Well, does
But
he
it's-
have that opinion too?
he does.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah.
But I mean, it's. I don't know. I'm not really into naming things after people.
Yeah.
But I recognize that makes some people feel good. So
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
against it enough to take away what makes them feel good. So I'll go along
Right,
with that.
right.
But I think it's just naming things after people who are alive is problematic.
There's I brought this up before, probably years ago, but it just I read it somewhere as an op-ed piece. Every 20 years, you need to rename everything because people forget who the name belongs to.
Or what
As
they did, right?
Or as they did.
Yeah.
Like in Rhode Island, who's T.F. Green?
Theodore
The-
Francis Green,
Yes.
Yeah.
former governor.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, you know that.
Yeah.
You go ask someone that's 20 years old. They're not going to know.
He's a former senator too, if I recall.
They're just not going to know because Green was governor when.
30s.
There you go. It's
30s into the
it's-
40s.
It's 100 years ago, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing in Boston. Who's Logan? He was another governor.
Oh, was he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you,
I
you,
didn't know
you know,
that.
Right.
you just forget, and
Right.
time goes on, and now we don't know who this is. And the point was, you just start renaming it after people that are still alive, and you get a good 20 years, and then you change it again. Who's Dulles in Washington D.C.?
Well, he was a Secretary of State, I think, wasn't he?
I don't know.
See, we don't know.
Or
I don't know
He
either.
was on a cabinet.
Who's O'Hare in Chicago?
Oh, I don't know. He could have been a barber for all I
I
know.
know that's right.
Right.
That's, you're right. So
Yeah,
all right.
that's
An Irish barber,
interesting.
O'Hare.
That's it. Yeah,
so
that's an interesting take.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the TV commercials went out, and they said, "Yeah, this year you can bet on the Boston Marathon. Come to DraftKings, and you can do it, and this will be great, and this will be wonderful, and look how much money you can make." And then the Massachusetts State Gaming Commission said, "You really should have asked us first, and now that you have, no,
Yeah.
you can't do it."
Right.
Now they're saying that they ruled that there's not enough time for the Boston Athletic Association, which runs the marathon, or its partners to prepare for betting on the race this year, which comes up on the 17th, right?
Yep.
Not Patriots Day. So yeah,
That's right.
it's coming quickly.
A week from Monday.
The association indicates that they were never consulted on the matter and has major concerns. DraftKings was seeking to take bets on the top 20 finishers in the race, along with the under/over bets on winning times.
DraftKings is not going to get hurt by this.
Well,
because
no,
believe
they're
me,
not losing money.
You just look and you the top 20 Kenyans here,
And
the top
Ethiopians.
20 Kenyans there, and okay, those are the winners. I mean, BAA knows this.
Oh, that's so racist, Dave.
It is not race. It's a race that the Kenyans keep winning. And so it's being cynical, Joe. It's not
Right,
being
right.
racist. It's saying, okay, people from Kenya, they know from running. And by golly, you can't catch them. And so just take a look at the race results.
Oh, I know. But
take-
next year they'll do it differently. Watch for next year.
Really?
Next year you'll be able to bet on it.
Oh, well,
This year-
probably.
this year's
yeah,
too
well,
soon.
the right money will go in the right pockets.
That's
I think.
right.
I'm
Yeah, that's
boggled of why you would want to bet on this, but I just don't get
Why?
it.
I'm with you, Melissa.
I don't get it.
Not a better guy.
I'm putting
not
$20
interested.
down on that the Kenyan
I
to
work
win.
too hard for my 20 bucks.
It's
not
like
interested.
it's like a horse race. Yeah, I'm betting on this horse to win. I'm betting on this guy or this
It
woman
just
is going
seems
to
a
come
little.
in first.
It seems bizarre to me. I just
Betting on
okay.
humans?
Well, I mean, you bet on human teams
You do.
of people,
You're
so
betting
it's the
on
same
Kenyans.
thing. But
Which
it just
Kenyan's coming in first?
I never thought that folks would bet on
Yeah.
this.
On running races.
Yeah,
Well,
No, they will bet on anything.
they
I know
bet on
people will bet on
anything.
anything. That right?
Yeah,
right.
and I'm not in favor of that myself. And I don't yuck somebody else's yum, but I'll tell you, I work too hard for my 20 bucks to put it down and gamble it away. I'd much rather get something more substantive out of my $20. You know, so
Okay.
seriously, I mean, maybe a nice meal at a local restaurant or something.
You can't get a meal for $20 anymore.
You can one person.
You can, well,
Yes,
maybe.
one person. Yeah. So I know. We went
Yeah,
to a
I
local
know.
restaurant. 4 of us came up to $75,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
had sandwiches.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But but that's just me. If somebody else wants to go and do it, they do it responsibly. Nobody gets hurt. That's cool. Go for it. Have fun. But for myself,
Well, you're not betting this year.
I can't
on
do it.
on the
Can't
Boston
do it.
Marathon. Wait till next year.
Joe, I want to, before we
Yes?
finish up the segment here, I do want to make mention of one more thing that was in our Valley Breeze newspapers today that was tucked inside, and that is this very, very lovely full-color Spring Home and Garden 2023 Business Directory. Ah, there you are. And it's a really very, very nice thing. If you open it up inside, you're going to see businesses. I mean, the first one, what do I tell Denise? We need a dumpster. So you got a place where you can get dumpsters here. You're going to redo your heating system. You want to redo the deck. You got businesses all over the place. I'm not going to mention all of the different names of businesses because I will end up slighting someone. But look inside here, all color. Beautiful, beautiful setup. And it comes in absolutely free, tucked inside your absolutely free Valley Breeze newspaper. So pick one up where you shop. Thank you very much.
Since its founding in 1996, the Valley Breeze has been the trusted source for local news in the Blackstone Valley. Our readers and advertisers understand that shining a light on all aspects of our communities and doing it with some of the best local journalism anywhere makes these cities and towns better places to live in. We believe that truth has value and should triumph over rumors and misinformation. See valleybreeze.com or any of our 5 editions for more on how you can be part of this local news success story.
This is Ed Carew of the Carew Investment Group, 765-8880, with some simple advice about investing. The truth is, there is no simple advice about investing. The old days of financial uptrends and downtrends, lasting for days, weeks, and months or longer, are gone. Sometimes trends last only part of a day before changing direction. Investing is not an activity for those who cannot take the time to study and see each twist and turn for the opportunity that it truly presents. Since 1987, I've seen them all, and I'll invest your money the same way I invest for myself. Carefully, very carefully. And it won't cost you a nickel to talk about it with me. So call me, Ed Carew, at 765-8880 right here in Woonsocket. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
When it comes to emergency service for plumbing and heating, you can't beat C.J. Nemus, 37 Corey Street in Woonsocket. C.J. Nemus offers over 15 years of experience and is licensed in both Rhode Island and Massachusetts. C.J. Nemus offers complete heating system service, plumbing, water heaters, plus drain and sewer cleaning. Remember that senior citizens receive a 10% discount. So give Charlie a call today at C.J. Nemus, 769-4776. They're registered with the Better Business Bureau. They're a master plumber with quality service. It's the only way and the best way. With C.J. Nemus, call today, 769-4776 for C.J. Nemus.
Hello, my name is Trudy Lamoureux on the committee of the 150th anniversary of Precious Blood Church. On April 16th, in commemoration of that event, from 2 to 4 p.m., there will be a fabulous organ concert with renowned organist Henri St. Louis and a large chorale at the Precious Blood Church. It will be a wonderful way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Tickets are on sale for $10 at Precious Blood Rectory and at St. Agatha's Rectory, and also, of course, on April 16th at the door. It's an event you don't want to miss.
Thanks, Trudy. It's Coffee Ann here on ON Radio. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Murray and Dave Richards as well.
And we miss
Nice
Rich
gentleman.
this week.
No Rich today.
Yeah.
He'll be with us next week. We certainly hope. All right. Should we go to the senior side of things?
The senior side of things?
Senior.
Oh, senior?
Yeah. A
You
Maryland
mean
man.
We weren't already?
A Maryland man is accused of extorting people in eastern Massachusetts that he met online dating sites. But it's a little more, gets a little more involved. Federal prosecutors say Brandon Kane, he's of Baltimore, recorded videos of victims he met on the dating site while engaging in sexual and drug activity, and then he threatens to expose the videos to the victims' families and friends if they don't pay him. Wow. He's in custody in Maryland right now. He'll be brought to Boston to face charges in the near future.
Good.
Well, yes, good, but I just wish people didn't fall for these kind of things.
Well, that's true,
That you meet online.
That's true, too.
Hey, let's do this. Don't
But
worry.
everybody
You can
makes
trust
mistakes.
Yeah. You don't know me, but you can trust me.
But you can trust me.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah,
you
well, everybody
know.
does.
You do. You're
You
right.
make
but,
errors in judgment. You give somebody the benefit of the doubt you shouldn't have. Yeah, right. So it happens. And then afterwards,
Melissa, on another note, do you ever see this come up down at the State House? This is in Massachusetts. Efforts are being made to return the right to vote to people being held in Massachusetts prisons. You ever see that come up down in the Rhode Island State House?
I'm
that'd
trying
be a
to
Democrat
think.
thing, right? They want more voters.
I'm trying to think if there is a bill this year. There probably is.
Okay.
I will say
It's a perennial thing, isn't it? Or is it an annual thing?
right. There are literally thousands of bills. I think there's
yeah, so you
like
don't know. Okay.
3,000 on this House side alone. So there is likely a bill around it, but it hasn't gained a lot of talk or attention.
Okay, supporters say ending the prisoner voting ban would help with their re-election. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
will help with their.
What would you kid about it?
It'll help their.
There's no reason for you to
They're never
do
going to
it.
say that. They say it's going to help with their rehabilitation and would reinforce a commitment to a thriving democracy.
Baloney. It's going to increase extortion, payments, illicit activity, and vote manipulation.
The state stripped
You
the right to
kidding me?
vote from
geez.
inmates
So
more
you're
than
in there
2
for another
decades ago.
15 years, are you? We'll work over your girl over here if you don't vote Democrat. I mean, you kidding me? It opens the door to so many bad things, and there's no reason to change it.
All right, remember that. Melissa,
Except
if it comes up in Rhode Island.
Oh, geez, yeah.
This doesn't affect you guys
There's
in
no
Massachusetts.
good reason to change it. I mean, if you're away, it's like, we didn't kill you, but we don't want you part of society. You're going to stay over there. We're going to keep you as healthy as we can. You're going to serve the time, and then when you're done, hopefully you come back and you play ball in society the way that you were meant to in the first place. Mm-hmm. Now, that's the whole concept of the correction system, and you can also decide who's going to be the governor. Huh? Why?
Well, they're just kicking it around again in Massachusetts. So, anyway, I saw
God
this.
bless their pointy little heads.
I saw this story yesterday. A doctor, all right, a female doctor, a dermatologist.
This makes a difference.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a female
Guys
doctor.
and girls both have skin, you know.
It's a dermatologist from Irvine, California. She's been indicted on suspicion of poisoning her husband.
Oh my god.
And there's video of it. He thought something was going on, so he put up cameras in the kitchen, and there she is making tea, okay? And there is the bottle of liquid Drano right
my
on the counter, and there she is picking it up and pouring it into the tea. I'm like,
no kidding.
like, wow.
Okay, this is
Well,
like
she missed the sink, you mean?
Yeah, that's right. I meant to unclog the sink the same time I was making the tea, and it fell into the cup. Sorry about that.
Oopsie.
Yeah.
that is wild. This is like a
So she's been indicted.
it's like an episode of Monk or
Yeah,
Columbo,
that's right.
right?
No one will ever know it was me.
Right.
3 counts of poisoning and 1 count of domestic battery. She's 45 years old. She's accused of pouring the liquid drain cleaner into the husband's tea, causing him to have stomach ulcers. The man suspected his wife might be trying to poison him, so he installed the cameras, and it caught her in the act. She's due back in court on April 18th, and she faces more than 8 years in prison. She has pled not guilty, I heard, but boy, it's tough to
Right.
go against that video of her picking it up, and you can clearly see
Is
it's
that-
that big red bottle of you ever see the liquid Drano?
Is that grounds for divorce? in
He's filed.
California?
He has filed for divorce.
That's probably a good idea.
That-
Can you
maybe
imagine
they
thinking
shouldn't
like
live together.
I suspect that my spouse
Well-
has been poisoning me.
Well,
like
when he drank the tea,
it tasted funny.
it tastes incorrect. There's
well,
something
I
else
imagine
in
that
here.
it probably would. Like
yeah. I'm like, or it's not bad, but there's something off about it. Because she's not pouring gallons in there, but
yeah.
All right.
so there you go. You can't do that.
Justice is served by technology.
This time around, yes. Not normally does that work, but okay. And something's there's for whatever reason, there's some bad blood between the governor of Connecticut and the people of Houston. Now, University of Connecticut was just in Houston, and they won the NCAA men's basketball championship. All right, and so the governor went. He can back up his team. All right, the governor of Connecticut doesn't think much of Houston, where the Huskies won the college basketball championship. In an interview, he called the city, quote, butt ugly, unquote. Harris
Not
County,
exactly diplomatic.
Harris County, which I guess
Why would
Houston
you
is in, I guess Houston's in Harris County, Texas. Harris County Hidalgo is inviting him back to experience what she called, quote, fabulous restaurants and, quote, historic buildings. No word on if the governor, Edward Lamont, will take her up on the offer. There is the radio.
Whether or not he'll wear body armor and have armed guards with him when he goes.
The radio voice of the Houston Astros, who's not amused by all of this, took a harsher approach. Robert Ford posted on social media that the Houston slur is rich, quote, coming from someone who lives in Hartford. I think it's pretty funny.
Okay.
Anybody who's been to Hartford knows where they're coming from on that one. Poor Hartford they got an image issue.
So I don't understand, because I was in Houston not 2 months ago, and I thought the city was fine.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
It looked lovely to me. I didn't see a lot of
Well,
it.
it
I
doesn't
wasn't
have
there
the same
very long.
baggage that Hartford does.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
right,
Of,
yeah.
It's
hundreds
much
of
newer.
years. Right.
It seems to be much cleaner. They had their issues. I saw the homeless out on the street. I go, but that's everywhere. That's nothing new, and you can't really hold Houston against that. But I walked down the street during the day and at night. I felt fine going back from where I was back to my hotel.
Could you
I
do
thought the
that in
hotel was
Hartford,
great.
Joe?
Well, I don't know. I haven't been to Hartford very often. Just to the Hartford Civic Center a few times.
So he just said that the city was like
The
ugly.
city's butt ugly, and I disagree. I think Houston looks lovely.
Aesthetically, or like what is?
Yes, it's not pleasing to the eye to look at. And I'm like, boy,
Neither is Phoenix.
So, boy, I kind of disagree on that, but I don't know what he's got
Right,
against
right,
Houston.
right.
I've never heard anyone say anything bad about the pleasing aesthetics of
Yeah,
the city
no,
of
nor have
Houston.
I actually.
And look at Dean Martin. Sings about Houston all the time. He loves it.
Somebody
I'm not-
wrote the song and he sang
Oh,
it.
okay, all right. So I don't know what Edward Lamont has against the city of Houston, but yeah. So look out next time the NCAA Final Fours in Hartford and see if the
that
University
wouldn't
of Houston comes
I don't
up
think
there.
that would happen.
Well, it all depends. It's all money, and it depends on how many seats are available to sell
Yeah.
at the Hartford Civic Center.
Sure.
And if you're not at a certain, this is why it doesn't come to Providence. They don't have enough seats.
Right.
If you don't hit a certain level, they won't come there. You got to have 20,000 or more. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, sorry, we're looking at bigger venues.
Yes.
That's just the way it is. All right, we're coming to the end of the program. Thank you very much for listening in. We hope Richard Lane can join us next week. Dave, thanks for coming in and giving us your best Robert Kennedy impersonation.
I hope I can join you again next week myself.
Speaking of that, Kennedy's running for president.
Yes.
His,
Robert Kennedy's grandson?
That's
son.
right.
Son or
Yep,
grandson?
son.
His son. Okay.
Son.
Well, how about
He's
that?
69. So
Oh, well,
his son.
all right. It's going to be his son. Okay. He's going to take on Joe Biden, which is shocking, actually.
Well, maybe. Okay.
Right.
But more on that later on.
It depends on whether Biden's running or not.
Right.
Right.
All right. Melissa, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Everyone have a great weekend and happy Easter, happy Passover, or whatever it is that you celebrate.
At this time.
Passover was last
Yep.
night.
All right. Thank you very much for tuning in. Gary Smith and the crew, they're coming your way at 9:30 here on ON
So
Radio.
look out.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. In an appearance on WOON